Fuck it.
Game number 1, we start off with Renata, mainly because he was hovering Nasus, so he had no AP. Renata allows me to use the enemy damage against themselves, plus it goes well with double ADC. We're up against the Maokai, so the laning phase is quite boring, nothing happens. We pretty much go 0-0 up until this moment right here, where we see our jungler getting invaded, and we attempt to cross over to help him. Nice. It's just appalling how little people understand how Renata works. No wonder you guys don't like watching it. You don't know how the fucking champion works. After that, the lane goes back to being stale. The enemy jungler, who was killed by us, ends up hovering the bot lane. And our jungler, on the flip side, he didn't get any gold from the engage, so he ends up playing topside from now on. We play as safe as we can for the most part. 11 minutes have gone by, 0 deaths on our part. No, thank you. That's so annoying. Honestly, I thought that I had escaped from the range of the Maokai. Apparently not. It ends up rooting me and I die to the Varus. Straight after that, they tower dive our ADC 1v3 and they all escape with just a sliver of health. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Oh, well. They committed 3 people to the bot lane for a very long period of time. Picked up 2 kills here, but look at the map. It's being completely demolished by our team. Winning top, winning mid. And our jungler is significantly ahead. I don't know if you saw that, but our ADC started talking smack for no real reason, so I started roaming immediately. I'm not one to stick around in lane when the ADC starts randomly mouthing off. It just is a sign of weakness for me. It didn't end up paying off. Well, I guess it did kind of, but we do die a couple of times, and our ADC gets put behind. But ultimately, our jungler and Tristana end up getting further ahead. Tristana roamed bot, took that lane, took those towers, and then the game continued. I imagine you've noticed that they have a Taric in the top lane. He is the support main. He mains Taric, and top is his secondary role. Same way I can play Renata top. So yeah, he's not trolling. This is the first major team fight. It swings heavily in our favor, probably because of all the gold we have on Tristana. He shines in these skirmishes. The second one didn't go as well. Tristana, who I mentioned has a large portion of our gold, started this fight, so he was caught. They managed to kill him, and at this point we're just trying to salvage, really. They end up going into the full commit, and our bot lane is our weakest lane, and we're the last ones left, so with full retreat, doesn't work out. The enemy team manages to ace us, excluding me, but I can't really stop the Baron, so they go ahead, get that free Baron, and now the tables, they've kind of shifted, right? We were ahead this whole game, now it's starting to lean towards the enemy team, and people are starting to get a little frustrated on our side. Aurelion Sol attempts to engage straight onto me. We dodge it, manage to escape for free, but we then see our team split pushing and decide to re-engage. Our only objective here is to stall. Dying, it's not optimal, but if we do die, it's all part of the plan. You can see the Nasus split pushing, our ADC split pushing, and we're getting objectives on the map. They're forced to stick around and deal with us, and that's the real objective, that's the real goal. We end up opening the top inhibitor, and Xayah is currently working on killing the middle inhibitor, but she has a choice to make. Do I commit for this, or do I fight the enemy jungler? Or, of course, the third option, which is just running. Should have died for it. Will it get it? Yes, it will. Oh, my God. That's so annoying. Our mid laner wasn't too pleased with the choice that the ADC made. Personally, I would have died for that inhib every single time. I ended up chiming in myself, saying my opinion, and the ADC didn't take too kindly to it. Started saying that I was AFK in lane, and I was just saying how I was playing safe. And then he called me out for standing still and dying to the Varus Q, which, I mean, obviously I wasn't standing still here, I was rooted. You know, sometimes you just can't rely on your ADC, but you can always rely on the sponsor of today's video, Mobalytics. With Mobalytics, you're able to view all your strengths and weaknesses as a player and easily use this information to help you gain more LP. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. Currently, I'm in queue. The enemy locks in Leona. I immediately open the companion app and click on the matchup pool. I can now easily see my worst and best picks into Leona. So according to Mobalytics, I'll win against Leona 75% of the time if I pick braum, and I like those odds, so I immediately lock in the braum. Once I've selected my champion, Mobalytics will automatically change my room pages to the most popular braum build. Once the game commences, the in-game overlay shows the power spikes of both your team and the enemy, and the minimap timers give you the edge when it comes to timing camps. Download Mobalytics now for free from the link in my description. And we are back. I hope you didn't mind that short ad segment. If you haven't installed the app, you really should. It's quite useful. This is the final team fight. The enemy jungler did a last-ditch effort to attempt to kill our ADC. He did succeed, but at what cost? I ended up flanking and killing him, and from there, they had no shot. He was their only hope. The whole base is open. We just waltz straight through, kill the Nexus, and claim our 22 LP. Now we're sitting at Diamond 1, 62 LP overall. On to the next game. Game number 2 commences. We are playing braum. There's a lot to digest this game. We have 2 ADCs, a Vayne in the top lane, and the same Xayah in the bot lane from last game. I didn't particularly want to support him again. We didn't really get along, and I didn't think he was that great. So I am deciding to go to the top lane this game. Theoretically, it should work. They've got a Yuumi and Zeri in the bot lane. That can't really do much to Xayah. He should be able to at least farm. And then on the flip side, we're up against this Aatrox, and we should be able to beat him, right? 2v1, I don't see how the Aatrox wins. Let's get a flash. Let's get a flash. Oh, I could have got one more auto in there. Early game went as expected. I created a lot of pressure, pushed out the Aatrox, and forced him to recall. Early TP down, Lee Sin came to gank. It kind of whiffed. He went to the river, and then this fight broke out. Ooh, Aatrox is pushing. Maybe we can zone him. The biggest struggle this game wasn't really what we were trying to achieve. It was the fact that the Vayne didn't want me in top lane and the Xayah wanted me in the bot lane. So he wasn't really working with me at all for a long period of time. Despite this, we still managed to draw a lot of tension to the top lane. Lee Sin hovered the living crap out of top, so it was basically a 2v2. It definitely felt like I was walking on eggshells this game. I was trying my best to not let it impact how I played and my decisions. I don't think it did, so that's a positive. Oh my god, that is not on me. But I was definitely trying my best to not piss off this Vayne, even though he was making some obvious errors in the early game, that is. I didn't completely leave the Xayah in the dust. I was keeping an eye on the bot lane. He was spam pinging the hell out of me all game. I came when I figured it was the most useful. I wanted to come here, help him clear this wave because he was at risk of dying, and then allow him to go back and reset. He interpreted it a little bit differently to me. I was starting to recall. I thought it was quite obvious what I wanted to do. You should back. All we're done is... He stays, and then you could probably imagine what happens next. In hindsight, I could have stayed for another wave. Just as easily, he could have gone back though. The abuse continues. We kept the pressure up top. Things were going in our favor. We started picking up a lot of kills onto the Vayne, which is what we wanted. I don't think they fully understood what we needed to do though, because they kept comparing themselves to the person they're laning against. Oh, I mean, nice try. I could have gone for Ignite. We'll take it though. For example, the Vayne was complaining about being under-leveled compared to the Aatrox, but that's not who he should be comparing himself to. The 2v2 is actually the bottom 2 versus the top 2, and then it is Xayah versus the Aatrox. So you should be comparing the levels of the solo laners and the farm of the solo laners, and then the gold of the ADC and support versus the bot lane. But this isn't something that they understood. Eventually, everyone stopped bickering, and Vayne and I worked really well together. We got a bunch of kills. So I'm just going to do a highlight reel of that, and we're going to close this game out. Here we are at the final and most crucial team fight of the game. Enemy has gotten a bunch of Drakes. They're on 3, we're on 0. So this is for their soul point, and we know that they're going to hard commit for it. This is what they need to win. It's their only shot. There's a bit of back and forth until eventually we get a foothold and things go in our direction. Load them. Much better. And the Baron. Just Baron, guys. Come on. And that is exactly what we did. Got the Baron, pushed the bot lane. We managed to pick off Aatrox, and then after that, we just walked in. Both of our ADCs had a lot of gold, especially the Vayne. 16 kills, I believe. We were just miles ahead. There was nothing they could do to stop us. A good game. The MVP, look at that. Clearly me, I think. Even more so than Vayne. What was that, an S? An S plus. Oh, after all the insulting and bickering, I end up on Diamond 1, 86 LP. So game number 3 commences. It starts off a little bit spicy with the Hecarim talking some smack to me, which it was deserved because we may or may not have forced him to play Hecarim. I was in the lobby, wasn't too sure what to pick, and then last second picked the Hecarim. It's the only name I could think of. And fortunately, he swapped with us, which was nice, and I just told him to get the braum because I didn't want to. I felt bad about picking something that I might not be able to carry him with. So we can give him a little bit of leeway this game on the Hecarim. Anyway, we start off this laning phase by playing super aggressive. I tend to like doing this if I think I'm going to have a mechanical edge over them. Zeri doesn't have the damage to punish us, yet I don't think Lulu has gotten that memo. She's playing full aggressive. It does end up baiting us in here. Rek'Sai shows up, kills our ADC, manages to pick me off before I get Zeri. But to be honest, we knew Rek'Sai was coming. There was prior pings, and obviously we were pushing. He was started on blue side. All the signs were there. We kept going. So it's really on us. Although I will say it works out in our favor. Rek'Sai ended up picking both of the kills up, and that's sometimes a good thing if you can crush your lane. So if we know we're going to beat this lane, them not having that additional gold's good. The only downside is if he manages to, like Rek'Sai manages to use those 2 kills effectively, which he doesn't. He ends up coming back to the bot lane. Look how nonchalant I am, just chilling there. I want to waste as much time of his as possible. I also don't want to let him know that we see him. It ends up paying off because he runs straight into the dragon pit and we're able to pick him up. If I had responded by like running away, he's going to know it's warded and he's going to take the longer way around, or he wouldn't even risk that. Once again, the enemy bot lane shows extreme aggression. In that spot there, they shouldn't take that fight with their jungler being dead and ours alive. We end up picking up 2 more kills, but this confirms my theory that like there's some free gold sitting in this bot lane, and we're gonna milk every fucking penny of it. I didn't realize this at the time, but I was doing some pretty amazing shield saves this game. I've done like 3 of them so far. They end up pushing too far forward. Very greedy of them once again. They could have just backed with us and everyone resets, but they stuck around and we end up picking a kill off of it. Hecarim is a bit of a greedy boy, goes for that Lulu kill, gets baited in, hands over some gold, but it's okay. I forgive you. It's my fault anyway. I don't think it happens too often, but it is always such a pleasure when you're playing with an ADC that actually knows what they're doing. The braum Ashe combo can be so potent if your ADC, your Ashe, has some balls and knows how to engage. There's nothing more frustrating than an Ashe who just constantly uses her ult across the map for no reason. This is not one of those Ashes. This Ashe was playing on point pretty much most of this game, and it's quite obvious in seeing that. The better they play, the more aggressive I can play, which in turn, it just snowballs each other, right? The enemy team had two major weaknesses. The first one was this Lulu. We used her to get a significant amount of gold onto our ADC during the early game. And then once the mid game rolled around, their next weakness was the Nasus. They had team comp issues, but this Nasus was just oversplit pushing, and we abused that. We got a few picks on him, and eventually this led to us killing him and then getting a free Baron as well. And after we got the Baron, we pretty much ran it down. It's that simple. Once you have enough gold and you get that Baron, you can close out games really quickly, which is something low elo players just don't tend to do. You see the Baron sit up there for so long, and they only attempt it after he reaches like 30-40 minutes, and at that point it's a coin flip. You should just push that Baron as soon as you have a major gold lead. Either force them into a 4v4 they don't want, or a 5v5, sorry, or take the Baron and push to win. Look how smooth I was with ditching the Ashe. I didn't even attempt to save him. There was nothing I could do, but it's still kind of funny. I'm not going to force you guys to sit through a full Renata game, I promise. This is the only real interesting part. We saw them path over to the Drake, which means they're going to come back to the bot lane to try and catch this wave. They can see the Ashe, they can see the Kindred, but they don't know I'm in this bush. I'm cutting this one up a bit quicker. We didn't technically end on that push. It was the next one after. Not much happened. We were dominating team fights. Up to 31 LP master now. This is the jungler who didn't give me last pick. I had the cleanest counter pick top lane. But here we are versing Darius. Thank you so much. For those of you that haven't seen this playstyle before, what we're going to do is completely sack top lane. Yes, we are a top laner, but we're going to be playing for the bot lane. I start off by heading straight to the bot lane. I sweep all 3 bushes to make sure it's not warded, and then I sit in the furthest brush. I make sure to tell my bot lane to go away. I don't want them stacking the bush with me. I need the enemy to see them in lane so they feel comfortable to walk into the bush with me. We then knock up the Skarner with our Q and get an easy first blood. I end up stealing it because I was a bit angry that I had to versus Darius, and I'm going to need the gold to supplement my playstyle. I'm not going to be farming as much, so we need to find gold somewhere, right? This is usually where I would teleport top and start farming, but this Darius did something a bit odd where he completely froze out top, which resulted in me having to help them push the wave in. Skarner ends up coming back to lane and walking into us once again, so we pick up another kill, and then I help my team clear the wave for the same reason that I took the kill. I'm going to need to supplement my playstyle somehow. Don't worry, you hardcore farmers. We do eventually make it to the top lane at 3 minutes. We teleport top, and the wave still hasn't hit our tower. If that wasn't proof that this Darius is extremely patient, then this is. I definitely was not expecting him to be in this push. He should have gone back, because I would have slow pushed forward. It ended up working out for him, but either way, I was going to die eventually because of the wave setup. Like I was mentioning, the wave has bounced on the top. There's no way I can get any of it, which means I need to look around the map for some opportunities. I attempted mid, it didn't work out. Fortunately, Miss Diana shows up out of nowhere to try and stop us. We get that kill, and this really puts a slow on the enemy team's jungle's momentum. Notice the Darius is talking trash. I'm freezing, bro. Come back. Trust me, man. I know you were freezing. I am well aware. I end up not going back to lane and helping the jungle. Darius shows up to try and stop us, and one of us is dying here. Let's be real. And I don't want it to be me, so I leave his ass in the dust, and I'm gone. He's not too happy, but hey, we can't all be happy. And in my mind, he's the reason we are in this situation to begin with. Anyway, I farmed mid after that, got level 6, and now I've head to the bot lane. Top is still frozen. Can you believe it? Because I sure can. I get 6. This means every time my ult is up now, I'm going to be in the bot lane, and I'm just praying it works out. Any opportunity to get a kill, I'm going for it. Our first attempt didn't quite work out. Realistically, I'm looking for some gold / experience every ult. So fortunately, this fight breaks out. This is really good for us because I need something to happen or else I'm in trouble. If nothing happens, we are shit out of luck. We're going to be underleveled, out of gold. So yeah, very happy that this played out the way that it did.
Awesome.
11 minutes into this game and I have 55 farm. Not something you see very often for a top laner, but in this case, I'm not too upset about it. We use our ultimate once it comes up in the bot lane and manage to pick up the Jinx this time, so it's a lot better than the last. And we move on to the most crucial moment in this game. They attempt to make a play in the mid, I teleport in, and I'm focusing on this Darius. He has a massive, massive bounty. The difference in gold between Darius and me at this point is significant, so that bounty has been increased, and we managed to pick it up.
All that gold you have.
950 gold. It is game changing. That amount of gold, all the difference that he just spent all that time farming, he just gave it right back to me. And the problem with that is I can now tank him. So all the damage that he does, I can tank him, and now team can deal with him. If that gold went to someone else, they'd be strong, but we won't be able to deal with Darius still. He'll still be a problem because I couldn't tank him. I end up starting to all chat BM. Come on, he started it, right? He started it, let's be real. I am just gonna be the one to finish it. You're gonna see a prime example of what I mean by being able to tank Darius here. I can withstand the damage long enough that my team can come up and kill him, so I can bait now. I can bait the Darius. He's used to having complete control of the lane. This is the first time where he's like, what the fuck? Why is this Sion not dying? And it's because he gave me all that bounty gold. I hope you guys enjoy watching Darius get killed over and over, because that is what is about to happen to this poor soul. 7 kills and he can't do shit all with it. He's basically a walking piggy bank for us. It doesn't take too much longer after that for the enemy to surrender. I'm assuming that Darius is the one who put up the vote, but they all agreed. We end up gaining 24 LP. We are now sitting at 55 LP.
Y'all ain't on this level, bitches, Tilterella.